Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We're going to take a look here at Origin Trail. I said it right this time. I said Oregon Trail last time. Anyways, it's considered Trac, T-R-A-C, is the ticker symbol there. And we're just going to take a quick look at the technical analysis. So if you're new to the channel, we just dive into the technicals, kind of see what's going on. And we look at Bitcoin first because every good trader needs to understand how Bitcoin is performing and identify perhaps a correlation between the two. Regardless of that fact, if you're new to the channel, of course, as well, keep this in mind. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only, but I have years of trading experience, and my goal is to help you become a better, more effective trader. Check out my trading community, link in the description below for CryptoCache Premium in your own time if that's something you're interested in, just becoming a better trader. I average about 85% success rate overall for my trades, and I share them with every single community member. Check that out. Moving on. So Bitcoin here, really quick, heads up, we have a test and a rejection of 60,000 finally, right? So 60,000 didn't hold. You keep knocking on that door, it's going to eventually open, right? So essentially the price broke down into this channel here. We've got 58 to 60,000, pretty much holding right within there as expected. So I've been kind of telling my community members to be cautious, be careful. The price should retrace a little bit further. I don't think we're quite near the bottom yet. There's a tremendous amount of volume actually, right around 55,000. So if the price does lose right here at about 58,000, we should see the next secondary support level right around 55. That should be the absolute lowest we're going to see the remainder of this season here. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If it drops down to 55, awesome place to add to your position and essentially just average down or hopefully down, right? Anyways, that being said, let's move on to Trac. So taking a look here at Trac. Big picture, it's making some moves here today. Obviously, we've got a pretty significant candlestick here in the last 24 hours. So while Bitcoin is effectively suffering, we're looking at about a 50% from bottom to top for Origin Trail. Now that's pretty awesome. Obviously based on the fact that, not a lot of coins are taking off. Obviously there's a Shiba Inus and a few others that are doing quite well today. Most altcoins are taking a hit. So it's nice to see this. So I can see I got a lot of requests here for this. So let's check it out. Obviously, we're up over moving averages, no big deal there. We're up over 70 on the RSI, but 70 is essentially working as a support level. And this is an interesting phenomenon that happens quite often. When the price is kind of stuck between 50 and 70, that's actually a good sign. It's considered more bullish than bearish, right? And then when the price is above 70 and it stays above, that's considered obviously extremely bullish. But the bottom line is that it tends to work as a support level. When the price comes down, it keeps bouncing. Right? So it just means that this has a lot more gas left in the tank. There's a great chance we'll see the price continue either sideways or up, if nothing else, for Origin Trail very soon. In other words, oftentimes when you have an increase like this, you will see a dip that'll come down to the next lowest Fibonacci retracement line and then bounce and continue upwards. That's exactly what happened back here, as a matter of fact, because I looked at this a few days ago for one of my community members, and it actually bounced right here at about 87. And it continued upwards. So it could very well happen up here as well, because I do this Fibonacci line when I review this here with my with one of my consultations here recently, and I can tell that we are looking at a pretty good continuation. So all good things here for this. Now let's go ahead and move on to the 4-hour chart and kind of see where we're at. Now, big picture, we can see we got a pretty strong support level here at about 94. All right, so 94 cents. We've got another support level roughly at about 110. And then furthermore, a new support establishing itself about 120. So 110 and 120 is a new support channel, whereas we have a set, basically a tertiary support at about 94 cents. Now, the reason why this support level is here isn't just because this candlestick capped out there. Yes, that's part of it, but there's also, Fibonacci retracement. So if we go from the lowest point here recently up to the top, you can pretty much see that's how that line was drawn, based on the simple fact that we went from the lowest to the highest point for Fibonacci. Now, actually, let's go ahead and just look at this as well, just kind of throw it out there. Big picture, we're looking at a pretty decent increase here. So just say we have a nice continuation and we kind of, the last week of price action continues to do the same thing again, which happens quite a lot in crypto in these type of situations, right? We're looking at somewhere in the range of $1.77 as more so a higher point, based on Fibonacci retracement, kind of give us a prediction there essentially of where the price could get if we saw the same, rinse and repeat type of thing. Now keep this in mind, this is actually doing, the same kind of pattern, right? So hypothetically, we could see that happen absolutely. Now, will we see $1.70 in the next 24 to 48 hours? I hope not. And the reason why is because it needs to be healthy. It needs to be, consolidated before it can increase again. Because as we saw already, this is about a 50% increase, from bottom to top in the last 24 hours. That's all well and good, but if it goes up too high and too fast, then we're going to have it come down too quick as well. So that's why I always try to teach my community members, be careful when you see a price increase like this. Try to maybe consider adding to your position when it dips down to the next closest support based on Fibonacci retracement, which is what we're looking at here. So my recommendation would be to consider taking the profit here, I guess you could say, right where it's at, and maybe adding to your position a little bit lower, closer to 120. Again, I prefer to take profits when I can. I'm a profitable trader for a reason, because I'm not afraid to take the profits and add to my position once we have established support levels. Granted, the support level hasn't been fully established. Maybe on the 1 hour chart it has, but generally speaking, that's the concept that we want to work with, since we have very little data in the last, just say, 12 hours of trading with these candlesticks here, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the 1 hour chart and kind of see if we can identify here. So we had a pretty significant jump there. It's actually a bit of a gap up there. That does happen sometimes. That's probably just because this is calculated by TradingView. You'll see that when we have that, it's not as authentic. It kind of fills in the gaps. We could look at other, trading, I guess you could say trading platforms. But for now, I just have all my stuff here, so it's perfectly fine. That being said, though, if we look at the Ichimoku cloud, we'll definitely be well above. And let's go ahead and turn off the conversion lines and kind of see what we're looking at here. So obviously we're above. If the price does come down, this is even better. If price comes down to, say, 110, for example, and it retraces to bounce off that secondary support, we have the cloud essentially working here as a support level. Because if you didn't know this already, oftentimes the cloud, if the price comes down, just say retraces, the cloud will kind of hold the price up in most cases, right? I've noticed that happen a lot, more specifically in bullish trends, more so than bearish. That being said, we're looking good there as well. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at TD sequential. We got a nice little reset here. So ultimately, we're not going to be in bad shape. We could even see a continuation of the upside here a little bit further. Me personally, I still think it's a bit on the overextended side. That standard deviation is too high. And in turn, I think the price could come back down. But technically speaking, according to TD sequential, which is fairly reliant, we might see the price continue for another 6 hours to the upside. That's a possibility, right? And why don't we go ahead and just be on the safe side and go ahead and draw a little bit more. Let's make sure we have some resistance levels here, just to be safe, so we know kind of what we're working with here, okay? So just go ahead and add that there. And let's go ahead and go with kind of the more common ones here. So let's go ahead and go with this one. 121.272 is a pretty common one, and 1.618. So that way, if we do see the price increase, we'll know roughly where it could be here soon, or where it might get stopped out. So I would say better case scenario, we'll see the price transition up here to about $1.40, and then either get stopped out and retrace, or it might even consolidate and go sideways. Again, that's just based on the fact that we could have a little bit more continuation, a little bit more, like I say, gas left in the tank. I like to kind of use that as an analogy here, because, technically speaking, we're just at the beginning stages of this increase, if that makes sense. Just based on how the way that it reset. So anyways, long story short here, enough technical stuff aside, right? I want to give you the facts here. Ultimately, I think, what was it? It was $1, right in the $1.60 range. Hold on. Let me pull this back. Oh yeah, $1.77 is what we're looking at. So 177 is effectively the max price we're going to see in the next couple of weeks. I would say the next 2 to 4 weeks, 177 would be the top end, right? More more realistic in the next couple of days, I would say that we're seeing 140 or 153 as strong potentials. But again, if it goes up to that high, we want it to be able to consolidate and go sideways. In fact, I'd rather it do that right now. So if it does retrace, it should bounce off of 120, and that'd be a great place to add to your position. All right, so that's kind of big picture there. But this is definitely making some moves, and I think that $2 is very realistic by year end. I think that's absolutely possible here for this, just based on its history, its fundamentals. Again, do your own research, but it's obviously a well-performing coin, and the reason why I think it's going to continue to perform is because it passed its all-time high here recently, and oftentimes when that happens, we just see a really large, massive increases, just like we saw with Solana and Cardano, which those are not done yet, by the way, but this one is also just getting ready. So origin trail to the moon, they might say, but again, don't be bashful. Take your profits while you still can, and just ensure that you buy each dip that you can, of course, as well, based on those lines that we've drawn so far. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time. Obviously, if you are not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Comment below. Let me know if you were able to get in somewhere in the 10 to 15 cent range. That's fantastic if you did. Nonetheless, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one.